So I didn't know if I was going to keep my Die Hard 1 review because I really wanted to take notes, but I just don't have time to go back and rewatch it and take all the notes and everything. So the one you got is the one I'm sticking with, I guess. And we're going to move on into Die Hard 2, which I did take some notes for, but then I didn't take notes for 3. But you know what? I've seen these fucking movies so much, it is what it is. All right, so in this one, we are at an airport this time around, obviously, and we find out that John has moved to California. Um, and from what I can see, I mean, he has to work with Al, which I love. I love that they're partners, you know. As I've said before, even though I do love Die Hard with a Vengeance and I love Samuel Jackson as Zeus, I feel like Al Powell was the proper pick for like the black sidekick buddy movie. Like he already had that guy, right? You know what I mean? So it's just interesting that they went with Samuel Jackson as opposed to Al. He could have been in the entire trilogy. But I do love what I got, so I'm not complaining. I just find it odd that they didn't go that route. I know that the Die Hard script, I'll get into that in the next one, but anyway, I love that. I love seeing Al here, even if it's for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or something, but he's clearly, you know, he's still snacking on them Twinkies. Jesus Christ, man. He's not going to live very long. Now, as much as I love William Sadler, and I do really like him in this movie, I'm not really sure why he trains in the, like, I shouldn't say why he trains in the nude. He could train in the nude for any reason he wants. But why was this a decision by the director? Like, was this to add, like, menacing, or like this guy was, I don't know, so open and like, I can't come up with a reason for why he's naked training in this scene. It just seems like a very odd thing to do. It doesn't bother me. Obviously, what do I care? I was trying to come up with a reason because we're already showing that he's like this martial arts master and all of this. So that's all we really gain from that scene. He's naked? What is that? What does that tell us about the character? What does that add to the film? What does that add to the scene? It's jarring because it's a man, you know, doing, you know, some kind of martial art naked. But it's an interesting decision for me. When I was watching it, I was just like trying to figure it out. I never honestly really thought about it much before. I actually kind of just thought it was funny. But this time, because I was going to talk about it, I was looking at it and being like, why? Why is he naked? Why did the director decide to make this guy naked in this moment? So, anybody got any theories on that one? I can't really figure it out. And we got Robert Patrick in here, the T-1000. He doesn't last very long. A sitting duck. It's like his only line in the fucking movie. But, and this came out in what? This would have came out real close. Real close to Terminator 2. Like a year or two before. So, he was just about to become one of the most memorable villains of all time. And of course, we've got McClane throughout the series being very anti-technology. He's an old school guy. He likes things to be the way he understands them to be, and this is without technology. You know, he doesn't like fax machines. He's that old. He's your dad. He's your dad who's just like, you know, oh, how the fuck do I use this? My dad, oh my god, my dad. He can't figure out anything electronic. It's fucking maddening to me. It's always like, give me it. Just give me the fucking phone. He texts and he's like, it's so long. It's like one letter, 2 letters, and it's like, how? What? They're just letters. You know them. You fuck. It's crazy to me. So John McClane is, yeah, he reminds me of my father in that way. It's pretty funny. And we got a Lethal Weapon ad in the movie. I think it's on like a Magazine or something. I did watch this about a week ago. I have seen it a lot, but this is the first time I think I noticed the Lethal Weapon ad. It was very quick and not really in the shot, but yeah. There's okay, so the scene where John gets into it with Carmine, the the security fucking captain or whatever. He has this line where he walks out and it's supposed to be this humdinger of a line, right? It's supposed to put this guy in his place. He's like, so what sets off the metal detectors first? The lead in your ass or the shit in your brains? This doesn't make any sense. Why would shit in your brain set off a metal detector? Like, I know that I get it, like lead in your ass. It's just the shit in your brain part doesn't really work. So the joke should have been something along the lines of like, how do you get through the metal detector? Or does it like annoying going through the metal detectors all the time? Getting flagged for the lead in your ass. You know what I mean? What sets it off first? The shit in your brains? Is there metal in your shit? Like, John, you should go to the doctor. Is there metal in your shit? Like, I find this joke or this diss to, at first, the first time you hear it, for like a second, you're like, ooh, burn, he's got lead in his ass and shit in his brains. And you're like, but shit isn't metal, so how is that relevant? And that's what I would have said if I was him. I'd have been like, well, clearly the lead. I would have had a really good rebuttal very, very quickly for that one. But yeah, Carmine has metal shit in his brains, I guess. I don't know. And I love seeing old school, time periods that I remember myself. Like, it's interesting when I watch a movie from the 40s, the 30s, whatever. I can't relate to shit. I look around, I'm like, oh, this is all foreign to me. Like, I know it because I've seen it in other movies of the time period, but I didn't live it. But it's interesting to watch this in other movies. But, we're talking about this one, so specifically this one, where everybody's just walking so freely around the airport, and you can like run to your terminal, and you can, carry a gun on you on a plane like John does in the first one, and like, it's fucking wild, man. I mean, he brings a gun into the airport yet again, like in this one, and it's just crazy to remember a time where airports were so laxed on security, like kind of crazily laxed. Like, probably should have not been so laxed. But nothing really happened back then, This was pre 9/11. This was before people thought like people could take over planes and run them into buildings. Like, that was unfathomable. That wasn't even a thought in most people's heads. So it's just, watching this airport and everyone just like walking around freely, and the way John goes into the baggage claim or the baggage area with his gun and all that. Dude, there's no fucking way that you could get away with like any of that stuff these days. And then you've got a decent shootout here. The action in this one is good. I like this movie. It's fun. It's a good sequel. I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is far superior in my opinion, but I do quite enjoy this one of the sequels. It's good. I like the writing in it. I think the idea of all of this is pretty cool. And okay, so the first time the only time they bring down one of the planes and kill people as the punishment for trying to get out onto the Annex Skywalk, because we have that big shootout with the T-1000 and all the other guys. The guy who looks like fucking Otto from Beetlejuice, he like picks him up, and he throws him and all that stuff, and the little escalator with the fucking gun on it, and John grabs it and all that. So in that plane crash, they do this thing where they're trying to trick the audience into thinking that could be Holly's plane. This scene's maddening to me. Like, this is... What? Is this supposed to fake out people who aren't paying attention, like, at all to this movie? Like, that's clearly not the same old lady. That's clearly not the same plane. Like, oh, an old lady. Oh, it must be Holly's plane. Shit. And they have to, like, reveal later, like, oh, Holly's plane has time, whatever. Because John's, like, freaking out, right? Like, oh my God, it's going to be Holly's plane. He's freaking... But they try to trick us into believing that might be Holly's plane. Could you... The old woman looks nothing like the other one. Nothing. But that is 100% what they're trying to do in that scene. And it's so stupid. To me, it's such a stupid decision. Like, oh my God. Like, I just don't understand the choice there. Like, why don't you show... Like, a smarter way to have done that would have been for the old woman to be shown in one of those fake out moments where she's like, oh, and she like gets really scared. And as the plane's like coming down about to hit, we see it cuts, right, to the old lady on the plane, the Holly's plane. And she kind of gasps, and then it's like, holy shit, Holly's plane's crashing. And then she's like, oh, I accidentally shocked myself with my taser. That woman, that old woman and that's sitting, Holly's sitting next to, she fucking or whatever, you know, that's a taser, right? Yeah. She fucking tased her dog. She tased her dog, and what she made it seem was like this teeny little dog. She tased a dog like a mini dog. I mean, it shouldn't tase any dog, but a fucking tiny little Chihuahua type of fucking dog. Are you kidding me? A little Maltese, and you just... What? She's like, thing limped for a week? It would kill it. That's what would happen. It would be limping. It'd be dead. Brutal. But I just think the fake out, just, no, that doesn't work at all. John gets out on the runway, and somehow a plane flies over him, and it doesn't pick him up and throw his ass. Clearly, they've never seen the movie Pushing Tin with Billy Bob Thornton and John Cusack, and isn't that where they met Angelina Jolie, right? Isn't that where her and Billy Bob met when they were married for a minute? And she was like, wasn't it him that she was like carrying like a vial of his blood around in her neck and shit? Or is this all rumors? This is what my memory of this stuff, but she's an odd lady. But man, back then, and she's still very pretty, especially, but my God, man, I remember Angelina Jolie back in the day. Holy fucking Christ. So he's like Gia, and even the Tomb Raider movies, and fucking Foxfire, or Foxfire? I can't remember, because there's the Clint Eastwood fighter pilot movie that's like Foxfire, or Firefox, and then there's the one with Angelina Jolie where she's like fucking topless for like 5 straight minutes, sitting in a circle talking, and you're just like, I don't care what this movie's about. I'm very happy right now. So yeah, Foxfire, Firefox, doesn't matter. Anyways, Angelina Jolie. But in Pushing Tin, they sit there on the runway and they get fucking picked up and thrown by the plane coming by, which is exactly what would happen. And I like how in this franchise, everyone who doesn't immediately listen to John McClane is incompetent. They're an incompetent asshole to him, and he's going to hear nothing else on the matter. This is very funny. He knows everything, and everybody else is a moron. That is basically, and that's basically how any of these like down on their luck, impulsive hero types are in these movies we're supposed to be reading for the hero. Everyone else is a moron. Nobody else has any competency to them at all. But that's part of it. That's part of these kinds of movies. And so they're trying to break Esperanza out, right? So I'm confused about his escape plan here. So was it part of his escape plan that he had to like seize control of the plane? This I'm very confused about. So the plane needed to land, and then they were going to come get him. But he's already have broken out by that point, and he can land the plane on his own. But he needs them because there's going to be guards there. Like, where are those people that were supposed to be there for him to land? Maybe they do address that in the movie, so that I'm not really that concerned about that part. Because as I said, I think that might be addressed. The whole where the hell are the guard people? But did he just not know if he was going to get rescued, so he took over the plane himself? But William Sadler's character here, he doesn't seem to be like... Now, this doesn't seem like a guy who strikes me as being all that surprised often, but he doesn't seem to be that, like, surprised that Esperanza is calling him on the radio and saying, I need a place to land, this and that. Like, this is a very odd scene to me. I don't get this at all. Shouldn't he have just landed and then they came and they killed the guards that are in the plane and got him? Like, why does he need to break out himself? As I said, it really only makes sense to me if he didn't know they were going to be there. But then again, he doesn't seem all that surprised when they show up to rescue him. So why did he even bother risking his life to get out of there? It's like a contingency plan in case they didn't come for him, in case they didn't have control. I mean, I guess that's what I'd go with. I'm just very confused by all of that. None of any of that makes any fucking sense to me. But whatever. I do like that William Sadler's little team there. They clearly don't realize like that he's going to actually crash one of those planes. Now, I don't know if that's because they don't know what the plan like fully entails or what, but they seem... Maybe it's like they knew what the plan was, but they were like, this is a bluff. We wouldn't actually do that. Because they all look at him like, what the fuck, man? Like, when that plane goes down, none of them are happy about it but him. Like, even these monsters, even these mercenaries are still like, bro, I mean, we've done some fucked up shit, but crashing a plane with a bunch of innocent civilians is rough. You know, he probably has kids and shit in there. Like, you can't, whoa, what? So, I like that their faces are like that. And let's see. Why would they let, like, okay, so the soldiers are brought in. Why would they let John McClane stick around with a gun? Like, they know people, like, why wouldn't they send him out of there immediately? Why does that fucking, like, colonel guy, why does he immediately become John's buddy in that moment and tells Carmine to, you know, get lost and all that shit? Or shut the fuck up, I think. Why he, in that moment, it would have made more sense if he was like, McClane, we don't need your fucking help, get out of here. And he would have pushed him away because McClane is the wild card. He's fucking everything up. He's now exposed where they're at. All this stuff, right? And he knows they're all going to be firing blanks at each other. But then John is allowed to stay around with his live ammunition weapon. And then he goes out with these, like, grabs this gun with blanks in it and goes on. Yeah. And then the whole, like, Carmine scene. This is, of course, dramatic for film purposes. But if John... There's, like, 10 armed guards around him when he shoots a fucking automatic machine gun at Carmine because he won't listen to him. John would have got himself killed there. 100% he would have been shot to death right there. The cops would instantly reacted to him firing that gun off, and boom, 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 he would have been dead. John would have never done that in a million years. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he pull out a gun and start shooting at the captain of this fucking, like, police team when he has all a squad, maybe, police officers around him? Come on. There's no fucking way. As I said, I get it. It's dramatic. He's trying to prove a point. No one will listen to him. Whatever. He could have fired it into the air. That would have made a little bit more sense. He could have pulled the fucking clip out and been like, look, blanks. Like, you don't need to shoot at him in front of armed guards. That just doesn't make any sense. But whatever. And oh, that poor guy who was like, came back and was just like his first day back on the team. He gets his throat slit. He's like, oh, I wish you were there. And he's like, yeah, we wish you were too, so we wouldn't have to do this. That poor guy. And of course, fucking reporter guy decides he's gonna create a panic. What an asshole. What a fucking asshole this guy is. And of course Holly has to go in there and zap him. So but he's pressed charges, and she she has a restraining order put on her from what she did to him in the first movie, which I really like. I like that carryover. So that's pretty funny. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now. That's weird. Maybe it'll come to me before the end here. That's bizarre that I don't remember his name at the moment. The character name, not the actor's name. Shit, that was like the last notes I took. Fuck, I must have not taken many notes from there, but it doesn't matter. Then yeah, essentially we just get the big fight on the plane, and John goes out there and he fights two different guys. One is the Colonel guy, and he gets his ass fucking killed by going through the jet engine, and then William Sadler actually beats him, which makes perfect sense. The fact that we see this training in the beginning, that he's this kung fu master and all this, it would have made no sense had John been able to just easily beat him. So for it to make sense, that's the longest runway in history, though. I mean, how long are they going forward for before then, after he pulls John's jacket out of the fucking, the wing, they then take off? Like, he didn't turn back around and go, shit, we've been on this runway for a while. No. This thing is miles long. You got all the time in the world to keep going and going and going. And then once you can take the jacket off, then he's not going to circle back around and come back this way or anything. Now, would gasoline burn like that? Jet engine fuel going down into the snow, creating the trail up into the plane. Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm iffy on that one. And then we get to see John and Holly back together, and that's the last time we get to see them together, because I guess John's impossible. And then what's his fucking name? Carmine. We find out that the dickhead is his brother, the guy who gave him the ticket in the beginning. And he's like, hey, is this your parking ticket? Did you get this in front of my airport? And he rips it up and he's like, it's Christmas. It's like, wow. He got like a $10 parking ticket forgiven for saving an entire airport of people. Wow. I mean, what a generous gift. Ooh, good thing it's Christmas, so he could like go above and beyond. Anyway, and then the like janitor guy is supposed to be a replacement for Argyle. I like this guy for sure, but he's no Argyle. But I do like him. Anyways, let's move on to Vengeance.